Hello fellow makeup lovers, how are you guys doing today? I am super excited for this video because we are going to be swatching my entire Lethal Cosmetics single shadow collection, which is 45 shadows to be exact. So I'm so excited to share this with y'all and hopefully do some helpful comparisons in case you are looking to buy or try some eyeshadows from Lethal Cosmetics. Lethal Cosmetics is a German indie brand and they're one of the many indie brands I love to talk about here on my channel. If you are new here, I absolutely adore talking about small indie independently owned, to be specific, makeup brands. So if that sounds like content you're interested in, definitely don't forget to hit that subscribe button. But let's just go ahead and jump on in. I'm gonna first show you my collection kind of apart, just to kind of explain the way Lethal Cosmetics does single shadows, and then I will show you them all together. So I have 4 different palettes here, and you can go on the Lethal Cosmetics website and do a build your own palette, which basically means they have an empty magnetic palette. You can look through every single shadow they offer, and you can actually go on and like place the shadows in the palette, and you can see exactly what your palette will look like, which I think is really cool if you are kind of more of a visual person, because a lot of times with single shadows you kind of just have to wait until you get them all and put them together to see your vision. So I absolutely love their palette builder, and I've done it twice. So one of the palettes that I built myself is this one. It's not exactly this because some shadows got moved around. This is the one with the white packaging, and you can see it comes in a palette with kind of a free space and you can fill it up. Then they also have black packaging as well, which I think was from their Hive collection. I don't know if you can see right there the little bee. And then this was another palette of single shadows I had built. And then they also do curated palettes where they have already put them together, and it's like part of a collection where you can buy the palette as a whole, or again, you can buy them as single shadows and do it yourself. This first one here that they did was called the Dream Sign palette, and this is the Color Stories. I think this one is still available on their website, and you can buy all of these shadows together already done. And it's a cute little 9-pan palette. And then lastly, they recently came out with the After Dark palette, and it has the slots already, so it is a little bit bigger than the previous Build Your Own palettes, you can see. But this one, again, you can buy as a whole, or you can buy the individual shadows. It's actually what I'm wearing on my eyes today, and I do already have a video up trying this out for the first time in case you're interested to see my thoughts and swatches and everything on just this palette. So now I'm going to go ahead and take a break and organize them all by color, and we'll do the whole collection together. That took so long, it's not even funny, because all the shades that are in the pre-curated palettes didn't have labels, so I had to label them, and then I had to put them in order, and I don't know, it just took me a while. But here is what the entire collection looks like together. I feel like it is such a beautiful rainbow of colors, so I'm going to go ahead and swatch the light shades, then I'm going to swatch the warm tones, and then I'll do the pinks, the purples, the blues, the grungier greens, and then the teals. I also put my hair up just so it's not in the way because we have a ton of swatches to do. But before we jump in, one last thing to say. I did buy all of these myself. Everything I own from Lethal Cosmetics I personally purchased. I know I saw someone start a rumor starting with some Lethal Cosmetics products saying that I say that I buy things when they're PR, and that's completely false. I've literally never ever done that. I have no reason to do that. I clearly say all the time, this was PR. They sent me this. Like, I have no problem with being transparent. I even have like my little things that I put right here, I think, now, that says purchased or gifted or gift from a friend, so you know exactly where a product came from. I'm going to quickly throw on screen a picture of this entire palette with all of the shades labeled so you can screenshot it, or if it makes it any easier at all for reference for you, I'm going to go ahead and edit that and leave it on right now. Jumping right on in, first we have a white matte shade which is called Frequency, and it is very pigmented. And then we have a true kind of cool toned white shimmer, which is called Overdrive. And we have a green, kind of white green shimmer, which is called Celestial. And I do feel like their shimmers are a little bit more satiny, soft. Some of them are more flaky, but they're just not like the most intense shimmers I've ever seen. Especially you can see Celestial there, right? Is just a little bit more of a soft kind of light green satiny shade, so it's definitely not my personal preference for a super intense inner corner, but they are workable and nice. Next we have Arsenic, which is a light pink shimmer. Again, a very soft finish to it. We have this blue, which is called Afterglow. Again, very soft. So there are all of their super light shades. Okay, so I already started swatching, but I messed the names up. So this yellow right here is called Vertigo, and then we have a yellow matte, which is called Daybreak, which are both very pretty. And then we have a orange, which is called Torment. So you can see their regular shimmers, the ones that aren't as light, are a little bit more intense, but they are a little bit flaky as well. I personally normally use them either wet or with a glitter primer. So next we have a matte warm brown, which is called Loom, and then a peach, which is called Quicksave, and it's a really pretty matte shade. It looks a little bit more orange in the palette, but it's a beautiful peach. And then we also have this light pinky tone as well, which is called Arcade. I guess I technically didn't need to swatch Arcade with that category because I was trying to do just like the regular warm tones, but I'm making this more complicated than it needs to be, so there's that. So now we're jumping into the pinks, and I'm going to start off with Crossroads, which is kind of like a pinky purple, but I decided to go ahead and do it with the pinks just because. And then we have the shade Capslock, which is a true bright matte pink, and then the shade Enigma, which is kind of like a pinky purple duochrome. All right, next we have Mainframe, which is another kind of pinky purple duochrome, but it's a little bit darker. And then we have Terminus and Cascade, which are very similar. They're both kind of deep pinky burgundy shades, but Cascade is a little bit deeper. So there are all of the pinks. So now going into the purples, we're going to start with Altitude, which is kind of a matte bluey purple. I feel like it could almost fit in either category, so I just went ahead and included it with the purples for the heck of it. And then we have the shade Synth, which is a beautiful, beautiful metallic shade. That's the purple that I have on my lids today. And then we also have Descent, which is similar, but it's not quite as flaky. And it looks like Synth has a little bit more blue to it as well. Okay, next we have Sequence, which is a lavender purple. Release, which is kind of like a muted mauve. And Nightcall, which is a deeper purple. And then all three of these are mattes. And then lastly, we have Unity, which is a little bit more of a plummy matte purple, and it's definitely more pigmented than the previous one. And then we have Spirit, which is a foiled, more cool tone purple. So there are all the purples. I absolutely love that row. I feel like one of the things I enjoy about Lethal is that they have a lot of kind of cool, interesting undertones and shades, and you'll see that more as we go on, but I really like this one. Okay, so now getting into the blues, we have the shade Outrun and Surge, which is a really pretty sky blue. I feel like those are kind of similar. And then we have the shade Ascension, which is a metallic blue. So I feel like these two mattes are kind of similar, but Surge is just a little bit deeper. However, I feel like they would look pretty much the same on the eyes. All right, next we have Numb, which is a matte gray. Stargaze, which is kind of like a deeper, kind of muted blue shimmer. It's very pretty. And then Insomnia, which is a deep matte blue. Well, actually, I would describe it a little bit more of as a navy, but there is the blue section, which again, I mean, is super, super pretty. Okay, so now jumping into the greens, which I think might be my favorite of all the shadows from Lethal Cosmetics. We're going to start off with Relapse, and then Void, and Replica, which are all matte greens. I love a good chartreuse green. We got more of a pastel, and then more of a true green. Next we have Vertex, which is a very bright green. Recluse, which is a little bit more of a grungy green, and then Habitat, which is a deeper grungy green. And then we have Syncope, which is the deepest grungy green, and Eden, which is more of a true kind of mossy deep green. I mean, look at that. I just love the greens that they have. I feel like this is all my vibes. Okay, so lastly we have all of the teals. So starting off with the shade Remedy. And then we have Proxy and Yonder, which I love the name of. These ones are all mattes. So, I mean, they're all teals, but none of them are quite the same. And then we have 3 metallic teal shades. We have Mirage, Venom, and Lucid. Which again, none of these are quite the same. I mean, look at that shade. But they're all beautiful. So if you're looking for some variants of teal, Lethal is your place. So that's my entire collection of Lethal Cosmetics shadows swatched out. I really hope this was helpful for you. Overall, I really enjoy their shadows and I do recommend them. I feel like I recommend the mattes a little bit more than the shimmers. The mattes are just super easy to work with for me personally, and the shimmers are not my absolute top favorite formula, but they do some pretty colors. So that is everything for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it and I will see you in the next one. Bye.